Hi,
Good.
everyone.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to this episode of Decoding Your Superpowers. I'm Teresa Lysam with my friend and fellow coach.
Linda Karshner in the flesh.
Yay! Welcome back, Linda. Woo, I
Thank
missed
you.
you. I missed your real face. Oh, I
Oh,
should have kept the one that I had.
yeah,
I had
right.
her on a stick. I had Linda's face
Right.
on a stick the last time. So now she's here for real, and I like it better that way.
Yeah, I'm
So,
a little more interactive than
yes,
on a
yeah.
stick.
You were here in spirit, though.
That's right. Absolutely.
So, this is our chance to really geek out on superpowers, strengths, all based on Gallup strengths assessment results. We feel they're really powerful. It's a great awareness for each of us to have. It's a great way of interacting with the world when we know this information. And sometimes we dig into what the whole strengths concept is. We're not going to do that this episode, though. We're just going to dive right in.
And
And
narrow it down.
yeah, so I was telling Linda that I had a client recently who had empathy up in their top 10. So if you've listened to any of the other episodes, our focus is on the top 10. That is
Mhm.
our zone of genius. That's where we are our best selves, our most productive, most creative, most efficient, most authentic selves when we're working from those top 10 strengths. So I've always kind of struggled when I see people who have empathy up in that top 10 set of strengths, especially in terms of applying it or leveraging it in the real world of a career, a job, whatever you do out there in the world to
Mhm.
create income or just have an impact in the world. Um,
And probably neither one of us can speak to it personally
right,
because
right.
empathy is in our bottom five for both of us.
So
Or, pretty close to the bottom five anyway.
So that doesn't mean we can't have empathy for
Right,
people and we're not compassionate for
right.
people and we're not open-hearted and connect with
And
people
yeah,
that
because
way.
I think people who don't know about strengths, if we said the two of us have empathy low, they be like, you're kidding me.
Well,
Like,
that's how I thought.
yeah, yeah.
That's what I thought
I
about
know.
my,
I thought that
yeah,
about
like about
myself.
myself. Like, oh, I'm not a very good person then because I can't feel what other people feel. But once we learn better, we
Right.
have a better understand. So we can understand
Mm-hmm.
intellectually what people are doing with
Mm-hmm.
empathy high
Right.
to an extent, but
Yeah.
we cannot experience it for ourselves the way they
Does not
experience it.
energize me
Yes,
to
yes.
feel other people's feelings.
Yes, it's not important to us. So anything in our top 10 strengths, superpowers are of importance to us. As they go down the list and end up in those bottom, like 30 to 34, they're not as important to us. We
Mhm.
can use them, but it's going to suck out our
Yeah.
energy.
It's just not
And
healthy for me.
right,
Mhm.
right. Or me either. So, and it's not serving others. Like we
Mhm.
serve others best when we're operating
Right.
from our top 10.
Yeah.
So I wanted to really talk about empathy and how it could be an asset or something that a person could leverage in their work environment.
Mhm.
And I wanted to have a discussion around it because I
Right.
want to understand it better so I can share that with my clients.
Hmm.
So I did want to share a little bit about what empathy is in and of itself.
Okay.
And so between me and you, Linda, we'll just
Mhm.
kind of throw out what we know about empathy. So empathy is being able to naturally feel the feelings of others, like read the barometer, the temperature of a room, of a group of people, and
Mhm.
kind of get a gauge and a sense of what's happening there, what the emotional
Yeah.
scale is there. I
I
know
think,
I can't do that. I mean,
yeah.
maybe a little bit, but not
Yeah.
to the extent that somebody else would.
And we can use other strengths to do that, but like you said, it's just not quite as easy for us. Um, but people with empathy high, they can read the room.
Mm-hmm.
They can go in and they can get a sense of what's happening in people's emotions,
Mm-hmm.
like an emotional level.
Right. And they can really focus on those others, the others around them, their feelings and what they're experiencing.
Hmm.
Now, intellectually, we can kind of
Hmm.
figure it out if you tell us about it, but
Right,
can we
right.
actually sense that? Not again, not to the degree that somebody with empathy high.
Yeah.
Now, here's where I want to insert this. There's empathy and there's empathic,
Okay. Yeah.
and they can be separate. So you can be high empathy, but not be empathic, which I should have looked that definition up
Mm-hmm.
so I could be more clear on it. But in my head, they could be separate. And
Hmm.
as somebody with empathy high had to explain this to me.
Okay.
So some can have empathic abilities and some cannot. So
Okay.
it kind of depends on the person.
Hmm.
We all show up as a unique person on this planet. So some people will be able to be empathic to take on other people's feelings, and some will not. Now, from my understanding, high empathy people feel they can try to take on other people's emotions and fix them,
Oh.
even though they technically can't, but I think sometimes they feel they can. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
could be wrong about that. That's just me
Yeah.
coming up intellectually with that
Yeah. I
thought,
think people who have both empathy and responsibility high
Yeah, yeah.
really like need to consciously work with their own brain to say, number one, with empathy high, you are a thermometer, not a thermostat. You read the room, but you don't have to change the
There
temperature.
you go. That's perfect.
And with
Yep.
responsibility high, um, it is responsibility over your own
Mm-hmm.
stuff,
Yeah.
not over someone else's
Yeah. So
goals or whatever.
again, correct me if I'm wrong. You can feel what they're feeling, you can understand it,
Yeah,
be sensitive to it,
yeah,
but you don't have to take it on and try
yeah,
to fix it.
yeah. And
Yeah.
that's hard.
Yeah.
That's
Could
hard.
be
That's
hard.
hard.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're right. Staying focused on your own feelings while recognizing other people's feelings is the important thing here. Because that could be very overwhelming,
Mm-hmm.
feeling and, over trying to take on everybody else's emotions
Yeah.
in a group, especially, man. I would not want that. I would not want
No,
that ability.
no, that would be
So
tough.
that would be tough.
Hmm.
So, in terms of how that could be a professional advantage, is really what I want to zero in on
Okay.
here
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
So, some ideas that could be possible. So
Hmm.
they can notice, like in a meeting, if there's an emotional undercurrent that's
Hmm.
bubbling up that nobody else is noticing. Like they
Hmm.
may be able to get a sense that, ooh, something's off here. These people don't like what's happening.
Hmm.
Whereas it's not obvious to other people. It could
Right.
be more obvious to a person of high empathy.
Hmm.
They might possibly be able to adjust their communication, their way of communicating based on what the other person is feeling. So see it
Hmm.
as a communication tool,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
which I never thought about
Yeah,
that.
that's good. Yeah. Yeah, really
Mhm.
good.
Or maybe a person of high empathy in a work environment can
Hmm.
sense when it's time to, oop, I got to step back and give this
Hmm.
person in front of me some space.
Hmm. Yeah. And like when the other person is maybe mm, going down a negative path,
Hmm.
perhaps you're thinking, okay, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, before it blows up any further, maybe I
right.
better step back. Where
Yeah.
somebody else might lean in and just start,
Right. Right. Yeah.
being just fanning the flames.
Hmm.
A person
Hmm.
of high empathy is going to be like, okay, I got you. I'm just gonna step away now. We'll come back to this later.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Trust. a
Yeah.
person of high empathy
Yeah.
could be a real trustworthy person that other people feel they can come to in a work environment.
Hmm. Yeah. I think that they people develop a sense of trust with you when they know that you understand how they're feeling.
Hmm.
And trust goes a long way in a work environment.
Oh my gosh, yes.
For the employee morale, for
Hmm.
communicating with customers,
Hmm.
communicating the vision of the company. When you have that trust, it's crucial.
It's golden. It's
Yeah,
golden. Yeah.
we've probably all worked for people that we don't trust,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's not a good work environment.
And I think sometimes we forget that being in a work environment, whatever the situation is, whether
Mhm.
it be corporate or a small mom and pop business,
Yeah,
whatever it
right.
is a relationship that is happening between you and the customers, you and your peers, you and your team members, and
Mhm.
sometimes when we're like in productive mode
Right.
and efficiency mode, and I got to get this done, and
Mhm.
the quota needs met, whatever it is,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
forget that it is a relationship
Hmm.
everywhere. I mean, we
Yeah.
are in relationship every minute of every day, whether we're by ourselves or in a group of people.
Yep.
So, and I know I tended to forget that in
Hmm.
my younger days, like, oh, this is all about relationships. It's not
Yeah.
about doing the things.
Right. Right.
It's a which you could do the things in
Yeah.
relationship with other
Exactly.
people.
Yeah.
So being now that I'm talking about it, being a high empathy person, that would be a real advantage.
Yeah. That was your problem all
That
those
was
years
my
ago.
problem. You're exactly
You
right.
didn't have that high empathy.
I did
Things
not.
might have gone a little bit better.
You are so right. Now that it's coming to my awareness in this
Uh,
conversation, like, oh, that's why I didn't get it. It took so long to understand it.
right?
But this is interesting.
Mhm.
Empathy often becomes the glue that
Mm.
keeps the teams healthy. I
Hmm.
really like that. That is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Wow. And just, I think, helping that, like if you're in customer service or something, like you just
Hmm.
can convey that the person in front of you is important in the moment. You care about them. They
Hmm.
can safely express themselves with you.
Right.
I can really see where that's an
Mhm.
asset for sure.
Yeah. And I think then, well, like we mentioned before, for the person with empathy high, then need to learn the skill of how to let that go.
Mm-hmm.
It may, part of their strengths is recognizing, but it can become, well, we call it like balconies and basements. It can become a
Mm-hmm.
basement for them,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
dark side of empathy, if they don't learn the skill of how to, kind of put that in its compartment and leave it at work and go home to the family and whatever.
And set boundaries for
Exit good. Yeah.
yourself and between you and other people.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that is something. If you don't know you have empathy high, boundaries
Yeah.
could really be difficult for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
once you know that that
Right.
is high for you, then maybe it would be easier to be able to set them boundaries for
Mhm.
yourself at least.
Right. Yeah.
I know when I need to step out. I need to go center and ground myself. I need
Mm-hmm.
to, think about something else for now and I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Again, that's where this self-awareness component is so important, I think.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. It's all in the communication, in empathy. Well, a communication is everything, whether you're of high empathy or not.
Yeah.
But I think empathy is, again, really going to be helpful in that.
Maybe the
Um,
things you communicate about are a little bit different when you have high empathy, that you're communicating more on a feeling level, a relationship relating
mhm.
kind of level, but communication is key.
Yeah. Whereas we would do it more in an intellectual
Yeah.
type of
Right.
a thing, and they're probably going to be a lot softer about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, really voice that connection better.
Yeah.
This is interesting. A bridge builder. People with
Oh, yeah.
empathy could help different personalities work
Yeah,
together
for
better.
sure.
That
Yeah.
would really be useful in work
Yeah.
situation. Wow.
Because someone with high empathy is going to validate each person's emotions.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
just that they recognize it is validating. And, emotions run high when you have anytime you have two people together, sometimes looking at yourself in the mirror with one person, emotions can get high. So that person with high empathy can build those bridges and say, okay, Teresa is feeling this way about this project that we're on. Linda's feeling this way. And
hmm
just recognizing it, bringing it out in the open is
Yeah.
crucial.
I
Like, oh,
like
yeah,
that.
but,
I like that.
we each have our feelings, but we can come together because we want the same purpose. We
No,
want
that's
the same
good. I
goal.
like that. Yep, yep, yep. And I like when you said validating another person's emotions, seeing,
Mm-hmm.
because that's basically all we want as
Mm-hmm.
humans. We want to be seen, we want to be
Yes, that's
validated. And
true.
if you're saying,
Absolutely.
oh, I see that something's
Yeah.
upsetting you,
Yeah.
that would make me feel so much better and so much
Yeah.
more comfortable, whether I share with you or not what I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Just having that acknowledgement from you could
Mm-hmm.
really change things around
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
for me, for both
Good.
of us, for a work situation,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Yeah. Whew. Now, in terms of a man having high empathy, I really want to talk about that because I've seen that years ago
Yeah.
when I first started this journey. I was in a workshop and a gentleman sat right next to me who had empathy at number one.
Yeah.
And he was in the construction business. I think he was the owner of a construction company. And I think he was struggling with the fact that he had empathy sitting at number one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be-
That's not the normal mode for guys in the construction field or blue collar field.
well, I think it's seen as a soft skill, a
Yeah.
soft, like, oh, I don't want to be all emotional in front of my
Right.
guys. That's just a societal thing
Right.
for men. So they might try to hide it. They might try to be the tough guy. They might try to avoid being vulnerable. My husband has empathy high. Did I
Yeah.
ever know that? No. No, I did not. It came as a shock to me when I saw
Well,
that on his strength. Like, where has that been? My
yeah.
whole marriage,
I'm
and
looking to see if I
he
can.
downplayed it,
Yeah. Oh, okay.
hmm
Do you think partly because of his job that,
Could be. He was a police
yeah,
officer, so
yeah,
that could, but I also think it was an advantage in that field
yeah.
because he was seen as a person who was compassionate towards others and
Hmm.
trustworthy. So that where his empathy played out, but not in a big in your face way. It was kind of
Right.
running in the background.
I'm just looking to see like when you have when you have a client, you can have them share their Clifton strengths with you in the Gallup app. So I'm looking in my Gallup app and I'm looking for men with empathy, at least in their top five.
Mm-hmm.
And out of probably five or six men that I've scrolled through, there's one. He has it in his number four, his empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's very interesting. He's in more of a white collar job though.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's a little bit more acceptable. I mean, we don't want to put stereotypes on people,
Correct.
so
Correct.
I don't want to do that, but
But
just
I
from my
think
observation.
society kind of does that.
Yeah.
As a
Yeah, it doesn't need us
man,
to do it.
yeah, as a man who has this emotional component to him, could be seen as, like I said, soft, not a man, whatever that
Yeah,
definition is.
right.
We have all these ridiculous stories that we place
Yeah.
on gender.
Right.
that or don't serve anybody, actually.
No,
We just
exactly.
tend to have done it. But I have some thoughts about men with high empathy. They could excel in a leadership role, as we
Mhm,
said, because of being trustworthy and
mhm.
validating people, coaching, mentoring, negotiations.
Yeah.
That would really be powerful in terms of
Yeah.
negotiating
Right.
and
That's a very good
mediating.
point.
Ooh, that's great. And again, that communication and in a crisis situation. So, like my
Mhm.
husband, in terms of he was always putting out fires,
Yeah.
not all the time, but when he had to.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
would be able to pull out his empathy as
Mhm.
one of his tools, unbeknownst to him. I mean, we didn't
Yeah.
know about strengths back when he was working that job. Um, so I guess we want to state that empathy isn't soft. It's not an absence of strength. It is a strength in and of itself. Ah, and I lost Linda. Linda, come back. There she is. Yay.
I had to let the dog out of my office.
But it's a powerful way to understand people deeply and then lead them effectively with that understanding.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I mean that's just like a reframe.
Yeah.
Just being emotionally aware of others is a power in and of itself. And powerful meaning in terms of relationships and communicating and
Hmm.
not in the
Hmm.
negative sense of the word. But I guess the message is if you're a man with high empathy, don't suppress it, try to lean into it. Find out how it's being used for good in
Hmm.
your world and how maybe you could bring it out even more. Plus, I think men in general, it would be great to lead by example by using that
Yes.
empathy and that ability to validate people's emotions. What a great example to be for
Hmm.
other men, other people of
Right.
in that caliber. Wow, yeah, that would be fabulous. Avoiding conflict to keep the peace.
Mm.
Another good
Hmm.
way of using empathy.
Right.
A mediator, we already said mediator, a peacemaker
Hmm.
in any type of conflict. Um, yeah, so there's a lot of advantages to empathy. And I'm so glad we explored this because this has
Yeah.
opened my eyes quite a bit.
Right. Yeah. I wanted to mention to people there's a book called Entrepreneurial Strengths Finder, and it's by Jim Clifton, who is the son of Don Clifton.
Oh, okay.
And he's talking about successful entrepreneurs, and I have just like six or seven things. So one of the traits of successful entrepreneurs is that they're relationship builders.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So, and how do they do that? They have a high social awareness. That's what we've been
Mm,
talking about.
yeah.
They attract and maintain a constituency. So, like a following, a group of people, relationships.
Mm-hmm.
They build mutually beneficial relationships. So, this isn't
Mm-hmm.
just people with high empathy, this is more general relationship builders.
Mm-hmm.
It's a relationship building strength. So, I think it applies. You
Yeah.
use your relationship talents to access internal and external resources. So, again, those that networking, that
Mm-hmm.
we were building bridges we were talking about. You forge relationships with employees and customers that go beyond work. That
Mm.
was pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have an open demeanor, positive attitude, and personal integrity that help build trust. And we talked about trust a lot.
Yeah.
So those
Yeah.
are just some little snippets from a book about entrepreneurs and their strengths.
Yeah. So interesting. I'm so glad you brought up that social awareness
Yeah.
and relationship builders.
Hmm.
I would think it would have been executors, doing, taking action,
Yeah.
productivity, getting it done, bottom line,
Yeah.
the metrics, the data. I would
Mhm.
have thought that would have been of utmost importance and lead to success of an entrepreneur. And you're saying, no, it's the relationships.
So it's saying, I think that it does talk about people, that there are other attributes of a successful entrepreneur.
Yeah,
Uh, you
yeah.
know, so some of those executing might be part of
Mm-hmm,
that, but
mm-hmm.
this was specifically about that aspect or characteristic that it's important to have to
Yeah,
be
that is so
a
interesting.
well-balanced entrepreneur.
Wow. And I'm seeing something here that says companies are increasingly valuing
Yeah,
emotionally intelligent
yeah,
leadership.
that is true. That
And
is true.
so I would think that a person of high empathy
Hmm.
strength, if
Hmm.
used wisely and with awareness,
Right.
is emotionally intelligent and
Hmm.
could lead with that. So this is really leading me to believe that empathy is a really powerful strength.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Wow.
think you're right.
Whew. This has been a great discussion. Man, there's so much more
Yeah. There
that I
is.
that we could pull out, but
Uh,
it's I hope we've kind of broken that tendency to think of it as a soft skill and nothing that is really an attribute
mm-hmm.
to be used in the work setting. We've just talked about all the ways it's used as a strong point and something to lean into and something to be power to
Hmm.
use powerfully and
Absolutely.
lean into it. I might have said that multiple times now, but
Hmm. But it
um,
must be important. That's why you're
yeah,
using it.
like because like I said, I would like back away from it. Now it's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, no, this is a great
Uh-huh.
strength, something to bring up in an interview. I mean, you don't have to label it as empathy,
Hmm.
but
Right.
be able to speak about it in a way that shows the power of it.
Mm.
So, whew, yeah, this has been good for me personally.
Yeah, me too.
I hope for everybody listening. So, thank you so much, Linda. This has been
Thank you.
delightful. Thank you to everybody listening. And if you don't know if you have empathy in your top 10, and you'd love to know, or this sounded like something like, oh, maybe I have that. If you
Yeah.
don't know for sure, we're going to invite you and encourage you to go take the Gallup Strengths Assessment.
Hmm.
There is an investment involved. It does cost $60 to take the 30-minute assessment. It's not a test, it's an
Right.
assessment. You will get your results immediately, very in-depth results, multiple papers, multiple reports that Gallup gives you right away to give you an explanation of it. But of course, we would love for you to connect with us, share
Hmm.
your results with us, and we would love to share with you what we know about how the strengths interweave and partner up because we
Yeah.
talked about,
Help people unpack the rich.
yes, we will help you unpack it because we talked about one today, but
Hmm.
they all are influenced by
There's
the other one.
Yeah, and there's 33 more
Yes,
strengths.
yes. So that just makes it even more nuanced and more rich when
Mhm.
you pair them with other strengths. So this has been delightful. Get your report over to us. We can
Yeah.
speak about it, put you in the hot seat on, in with us right here in this type of an episode. Or, of course, you can check in with us privately and have a private conversation about it. All right, my friends, let me grab my little sign here. If you
I like
liked what you
that.
heard, share this. Leave us a comment. I would
Yeah.
love to hear a comment from
Yeah.
anybody that this resonated with, or if we brought you some insights
Mhm.
and got you thinking. Please let us know. We would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you to everybody who's listening. And we will see everybody in the next episode of Decoding Your Superpowers.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.